Membership Committee. Today's 1-hour session is intended to answer any questions you might have about the upcoming annual conference and to help you get the most out of your experience by giving you tips for planning out your time in Chicago. Why is planning so important? At its best, ALA conference is about hearing great ideas, responding to them, meeting people whose work stimulates your own, and building a network of colleagues you'll rely on in years to come. And with a conference the size of ALA, doing this involves quite a bit of advanced planning. The ALA conference occupies an extended campus across Chicago, so planning your schedule ahead of time is especially important for this conference. But don't worry, although we're going to provide you with a lot of information very quickly, at the end of the session, you'll be able to download a handout, a checklist with links with the most important information we'll be covering today. And you will also have a chance to ask questions if we haven't answered any that you might have. With me today is Mary Jean Petrowski, the staff liaison to the ACRL Membership Committee, and my colleagues from the Membership Committee, Rachel Minkin and Sabrina Wong. As you have probably heard, Alois doing the sound checks, she is providing our technical assistance, is being provided by Alois Sharp. She will help troubleshoot any issues you might be having, so indicate in the chat box if you need help. And for those joining, if you don't have the chat box yet, click the chat icon in the upper right-hand corner of your WebEx window and it should appear. Alois will also be posting links to various resources as we reference them throughout the presentation. We're recording this session and we'll send you the links out as soon as the recording is available through the ACRL Membership Committee's ALA Connect space. Okay, before we move into our main content, as I mentioned, a few logistics. Because the meeting's so big, everybody's going to be muted. So like I said, if you have any questions, please do type those into the chat box. And if you have any questions that come up after the session closes, please feel free to send them to Mary Jane Petrowski. Her email address is on the screen. Our webcast today is really part one of a two-part series. Today we're going to cover strategic planning before the conference, and when you get to Chicago, excuse me, we hope you come to the ACRL 101 in-person session on Saturday morning at 8:30 in the Hilton Chicago Continental Room C. This session is going to be more of an opportunity for you to learn about ACRL, its various subgroups, and to get involved or more involved with the organization. We'll have representatives from different subgroups within ACRL, the different sections and interest groups, and there will be time for a meet and greet so you can get to meet folks from those particular organizations who can answer any questions you might have. The Membership Committee is also running the Conference Buddy program. We still have slots open for first-time conference attendees. If you would like to be matched with an experienced conference goer to show you the ropes, you can sign up for the program, and Alois has already posted that link in the chat box. Okay, with that said, here's a quick overview of what we're going to cover today. We'll start with travel tips for getting to and around once you're in Chicago. Then we'll break down the conference and the types of sessions available. We'll move into tips for navigating the different conference sessions, meetings, and also, most importantly, the exhibit hall. And then finally, you'll have a chance to ask any questions you might have. But now I am going to turn the podium over to Mary Jane Petrowski, who will cover travel tips for Chicago.
Hi, everybody. This is Mary Jane Petrowski in Chicago, and let's look like these photos today. I lived in Chicago for the past 15, 16 years, so I'm really delighted to welcome all of you to the city. So just a quick thing about temperature. In June, we average a daily high between 77 and 83, and it's going to cool off a little bit in the evening. So it's going to heat up steadily through June, so I expect by the end of the month, daytime temperature highs are going to be closer to 83. But we always tell ourselves that it's cooler by the lake. There's always a nice breeze. But I think the challenge for dressing for Chicago weather, and this is true really of any ALA conference venue, is that it's going to be hot, conceivably humid outside, but the businesses and restaurants and the meeting rooms can be quite cold. So I really encourage you to bring a light sweater or jacket before you start your day, and also bring an umbrella too, because summer storms can spring up. So the first thing I do is to plan my outfits for each day, keeping the weather forecast in mind. And what I try to do is mix and match, so I actually cut down on the number of items that I bring. And then I make a list of my outfits day by day, so I don't have to spend any time figuring out what to wear when I get up early in the morning. And although it's never happened to me, but it has happened to several ALA staff members, I think it's a good idea to wear a nice outfit on the plane in case your luggage is lost and maybe you need to wear something for a day or two. But I think the real question here that we get every year is really how, what's the dress code? So I would say for the most part, the conference is business casual, and the Chronicle of Higher Education that encouraged all conference attendees, not just librarians, to dress aspirationally. So meaning that if you're a graduate student, dress like you're already a librarian. If you're a new assistant professor, dress like the person going up for tenure. So the reasoning here is that it can't hurt to have others envision you already in the next professional stage that you'd like to achieve. But the bottom line is, if you're still not sure, I would err on the side of too dressed up, just like you would for a job interview. And I know some of you may be having job interviews at the conference. So you might want to take advantage, speaking of clothes and thinking about what you're going to bring, you might want to take advantage of the headshot studio in the McCormick Hall, where you can get professional headshots Saturday and Sunday. So anybody can sign up for an appointment with the ALA conference photography team. You'll receive a professional photo and a set of digital images that you can use in job applications, social media, and other purposes. Walk-ins are welcome, but this is a really popular thing. So Elois is going to give you the link to sign up in advance, and the cost is $20. Also, don't forget your yoga clothes if you do yoga, because there will be a yoga meditation room in McCormick Place Friday through Monday from 7:30 in the morning until 5. And for those of you that like to run, I would say all the hotels, all the conference hotels are within walking distance of the lakefront, where you've got basically 17 miles of running space along Lake Michigan. But I think the bottom line, and we tell this to new ACRL employees, the bottom line is to make sure your clothes are comfortable, because conference days are very long. And I think you have more stamina if you're comfortable. The most important thing is to bring and wear comfortable shoes you can walk in, because you will be walking way over 10,000 steps around the convention center and the exhibit hall in the city. So probably the worst thing you could do is really try to break in a new pair of shoes at conference. So, it's easy to forget things, but here's our list of top 5 things not to forget. First, business cards, because you will be handing these out to people that you meet. You might want to register for drawings and giveaways on the exhibit floor. However, if you do forget, and it is easy to forget, you can always say that you follow most people on Twitter or LinkedIn, and then, immediately follow someone, to show that you're interested. Don't forget your chargers, and since there's no power outlet probably in your airplane seat, you might want to consider investing in a USB battery pack for long-haul flights. I don't know about you, but we all have to do expense reports. So you'll want to keep receipts for your expenses in an organized folder or envelope. This will obviously save lots of time when you're back home claiming your expenses. It's sunny in Chicago, so try not to forget your sunscreen and sunglasses. The UV index in June is quite high. It's 8.3. So the last two things here is if you're trying to work on the plane, and I think many of us do, you might consider bringing noise-canceling headphones just to drown out the vibrations and the humming on the planes. And number 6, the bonus here, you might want to bring $10 worth of singles for tips. Those come in very, very handy. So Chicago has a wonderful public transportation system. The buses and trains can get you anywhere in the greater Chicago area. So if you're flying into Midway or O'Hare, the L, which is Chicago City Train, is really a fantastic option for getting downtown from the airport. Tickets are $2.25 one way. You'll take the blue line from O'Hare, screw up because there's no other line that runs from O'Hare, and take the orange line from Midway, and that'll be about a 45-minute transit time into the loop from either direction. You can also Uber or hop into a taxi cab, but I have to tell you, depending on the weather, the traffic, accidents, and there's always accidents, or the time of day, it can take you anywhere from an hour and a half or longer to get to the loop during rush hour. But I do want to mention that there are special shared ride pickup areas at each terminal for Uber and Lyft on the upper level. So you'll need to check to find out exactly where these designated spaces are. But I have to tell you, I love taking the blue line from O'Hare and just watching the train zip between 8 lanes of crawling traffic. Okay, so once you're in the city, you can take advantage of the Gale shuttle buses. And those are going to transport you from the McCormick Convention Center to and from all of the conference hotels. So service will start on Thursday, that's June 22nd at noon, and it will end on Tuesday, June 27 at 2 p.m. There are also city trains and buses to McCormick, but the Gale shuttle buses are free, and I think they might be faster and operate more frequently. So Elois is giving you a link to more information on the ALA conference website. So, as Katie mentioned, the conference campus in Chicago is spread out between the McCormick Place Convention Center and hotels that are in the Loop area and above the river in River North. So that's several miles between those places. You can take the conference shuttle buses from the convention center to any of the conference hotels, but you should really plan to give yourself 30 to 45 minutes to even an hour of travel time. So just so you know, most of the programs, the discussion groups, the discussion forums, the keynote speakers, the poster sessions, all of that stuff will be located in the convention center. And so as a general rule, committee business meetings are going to be scattered around those various red circles that you see there. All of the ACRL board meetings, section meetings, division level committee meetings will be held in the Hilton Chicago Hotel. And you saw a picture of that just a few minutes ago. But interest group meetings are going to be located both in the convention center and the Hilton. Just a thing about geography. So Chicago has more than 7,300 restaurants, and the June issue of American Libraries has a nice Windy City eating guide, and Elois has just given you the link. So they make recommendations within a range of cuisines and prices and neighborhoods. But whether you have funding or not, you will most likely be on a budget. I know we are. We have a per diem. And food and beverage costs can add up to 10 and a quarter. The many opportunities for free food at conference. Sometimes continental breakfast is available to those that attend, committee business meetings, and there are often snacks available in the exhibit hall. Vendors will often have breakfasts and luncheons where you can get a great meal for free, but since these tend to be by invitation only, check with your colleagues to see if anyone at your library may have received an invitation that they don't plan to use. And I want to plug the opening exhibits reception on Friday night in the Convention Center. You can see the shot there on the left with the heavy hors d'oeuvres, and there are also beverages. So if you really are sticking to a tight food budget, you can find a grocery store and purchase food to keep in your room. In River North, there are Whole Foods and Trader Joe's close to most ALAs in Chicago. I am at the prepared food section in Whole Foods. It's just a great grab and go. And of course, you can feel free to bring snacks to keep you going during the day. And finally, if someone suggests an activity which involves food or anything else that is outside your price range, I mean, it's totally okay to decline. Don't have to go along with the crowd. So I hope you can plan at least one day of your visit for sightseeing, since you might be hard-pressed to find time to visit Chicago again when it's warm. Elois is going to give you some links here, one to the Chicago Visitor Center. This is a great website to plan your downtime. The ACRL Arts section always puts together a great interactive map of cultural opportunities. That hasn't been published, but look for that within the next week or so, and that link will take you to the page where you'll find it. And one of my personal favorites, the Chicago Architecture Foundation, which has an office just south of the Art Institute on Michigan Avenue, offers more than 300 walking tours of the Chicago area. They're extremely reasonable, and they're mostly an hour, and some are 90 minutes. If you're short on time, you can walk around Millennium Park. It's beautiful. You're close to the Art Institute. And here's the great thing my husband just told me about today. You can register to win $10 tickets to see Hamilton while you're here. So basically, it's a digital lottery, and each day you can register for one of the, or two of the 40 tickets to be given away for the matinee or the evening performance the same day. And you have an hour to claim your ticket. So just wanted to flag that in case you would like to see the show. And now I'm going to turn the podium over to Sabrina, and she's going to tell you what you need to know when you get to Chicago.
Thanks, Mary Jane. So let's go, after all these fun things, let's actually take a look at the conference itself. So when you arrive at McCormick Place, the very first thing you'll need to do is to check in. At registration, you'll receive your badge and conference program book. You'll need to wear your badge at all times in the convention center. And the badge comes with a lanyard, but some people prefer to bring their own badge holders, like the one you see pictured here on the right. Others like to use magnetic badge holders that can be purchased from office supply stores. Don't forget to adjust your badge so that people can easily read your name and affiliation. Don't wear it so low on your chest that it would be awkward for someone to look. And definitely don't forget to remove your badge when you leave the hotel or convention center. Wearing the badge, it might seem a little annoying, but it really helps helps when you're meeting someone new. They can glance at the badge to reinforce and remember who you are. Others find name badge gazing a bit of an annoying habit, but just think of the badge as a good way to start the conversation and make new connections. Once it's kind of served its purpose, don't stare at the badge. It's a bit of a visual distraction, so just take a glance at it. When you arrive, you'll walk by people trying to hand you Cognotes. They're not trying to sell you something. Cognotes is the official daily newspaper of ALA Midwinter and Annual. At Annual, it's published Saturday through Tuesday, so it's kind of nice to take one and read about what's going on at conference while you're waiting for a session to start, and you can learn about up-to-date meeting changes. Sometimes the rooms do change. And if for some reason you miss getting one from the greeters in the morning, you'll be able to find it on newsstands around the conference throughout the day. And as I said before, and if you prefer digital, Cognotes is also available as a PDF on the conference website. Ribbons. You'll notice people adding ribbons to their badges. They're informative and they're fun. So you'll notice people wearing badges to show their affiliations with various divisions, chapters, roundtables, and other groups. There's ribbons to display your Twitter handle, to show that you're a first-time ALA attendee, a speaker, or a presenter, or to show your pride. ACRL will have membership ribbons at their booth, which is 4639 on the exhibit floor. The division and roundtable ones are almost all located in the ALA membership pavilion in the exhibit hall or at the ribbon bar near registration. And you can pick and choose which ones you'd like. Then there are lots of fun ones that are put out by different booths, and it's kind of like a scavenger hunt to find them all. If you see someone with one that you like, the best way to find it is to ask them simply where they got it. So some things to consider. We realize it can be very overwhelming to look at the number of meetings and presentations available in the scheduler, which Rachel will talk a bit about in a bit. But here are some things to consider as you select your sessions. First, it can be really easy to stick to sessions that relate directly to your job, but you might want to explore some sessions beyond what's in your job description. This is a great way to expand your viewpoint and to learn something new. You'd be surprised how often an idea you encounter in one of these sessions can relate to your current position. People often worry about okay to politely leave a session, or if there are two sessions you'd like to attend that run at the same time, it's okay to quietly leave one and go to the other. This other recommendation can be particularly challenging for some of us, so many presentations and meetings have time for open discussion and questions. If you're not comfortable speaking in front of a large group of people, you're absolutely encouraged to go talk to the speaker after the session. This is a great way to contribute to the discussion and to meet a few new. Please do raise your hand at question time and ask any questions you might have. You are here to learn, and people are here to share their knowledge. So if you're feeling a little burned out and a little overwhelmed, don't forget that self-care is a very important part of attending conferences. There's going to be a yoga and meditation room in room W472 McCormick Place, and it'll be open Friday to Monday during the day. Or if you'd rather, you can find a quiet corner to sit, go back to your hotel room for a nap, or go to a museum for a few hours. And so now I'll jump into talking about the different types of sessions at ALA Annual. So you'll see all of these different types come up when you look at the scheduler. Your registration will get you access to some of these things on the list. So committee meetings, many committees meet to wrap up their work for the year at ALA Annual. There's also presentations that happen in the different subject-based sections of ACRL, but they can also be hosted by groups within the larger ALA organization. Poster sessions happen throughout the conference on the exhibit hall floor. They're very easy to drop in and view if you have a few free moments, but be sure to attend during scheduled poster times if you'd like to ask questions of the poster's creator. ACRL also has several discussion and interest groups that do not have formal presentations, but rather host open discussions on a particular topic of relevance. Programs are formal presentations, and they're generally with a larger audience. And don't forget the featured speaker series that is hosted at the exhibit hall. These are the big name presenters, and even though the room is large, it can sometimes fill up. And finally, the things that happen that are not included in the general registration but might be of interest to you include ticketed social events and vendor events. These usually require the purchase of a separate ticket, and you can contact the group hosting the event for more information about how to do this. There's also a pre-conference, main conference, and be on our scheduler. You can register for these in the same place you register for the conference. So now I'm going to pass things over to Rachel to discuss how to find and plan these sessions using the scheduler.
Thank you, Sabrina. Let me go ahead and advance my slide here a little bit. There we go. Now, what I'm looking at here is the conference scheduler. And the scheduler is the first link in the navigation bar of the conference website. You don't need to sign in to Blue, but if you want to create a customized schedule log, you can do so with your ALA login and password. Just a moment, there we go. Now, the first question you're asked after logging in is about your networking preferences. If you would like others to see the sessions that you're about to, that you plan to attend, or that you want them to see your contact information, you can choose yes in that drop-down. There are benefits to making your attendance public, especially for networking, but it is your choice. Next, if your profile is not complete, there will be a space where this part pops up. And here, if you want, you can go ahead and add your contact information and a picture. But again, you don't need to do that unless you're comfortable doing so. Okay, so now that you have a complete profile, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see a button that says Full Schedule. Click there and you can start browsing. Okay, so we're looking at that list. with many options when it comes to browsing and narrowing the available sessions. If you're interested in a particular subject like digital libraries or information literacy, or if you're interested in a particular type of library like a law library, maybe it's a meeting time that fits in your schedule or a particular subgroup, you can use those drop downs to make those selections. Now, ALA and ACRL use many acronyms and initials in their group names, and so we'll have an discussion. If you know a particular group is hosting a meeting or presentation, you can also use the search box in the right-hand corner to find that particular meeting. And I think that Mary Jane may have posted this a little bit earlier. Most of the meetings that ALA and ACRL are putting open have open meeting policies, and that means you can just show up, or you can just go. But occasionally you will come across something that says closed, and that means that there's some privacy. So most of the meetings are open, and you should attend those, and especially attend them if you think you might want to be involved, or if you want to get more involved than what you really are right now. So how do we add things to our schedule? A 101 session, the in-person session that we talked about at the beginning of this. All I need to do is do a search for ACRL 101, and the one session pops up, and I can add it to my schedule directly from the search results by clicking the star to favorite on the side of your screen there. Or I can click the title link to view a more detailed information for the session, and under that detailed information, and sort of got a blue box around it, is a button that says Attendee. This is where you can see the profiles of others who plan to go to that session, and that's if they've chosen to make that information public. If they haven't done so, you won't see them, but they'll be there. And once you've gone through and you've added all of the sessions, you can click on My Schedule in the navigation to see the full list of everything you've chosen, and that breaks it down for you day by day. You can then export this if you'd like, or print your calendar. You can import it into your favorite calendar app, and the conference scheduler is also available on various mobile platforms, so you should be able to access this in many different ways. So as for first-time attendees, there are a few sessions that we'd like to call attention to, and I think somebody got it up there already, that we will have Hillary Rodham Clinton coming to speak to us. I'm also looking forward to hearing Reshma Sujani, who's the founder and CEO of Girls Who Code. I think that she can do a great talk. You can learn more about our featured speakers by going to this month's American Libraries magazine, which there's a link in here already earlier in the session, or go to the ALA annual conference site and learn more. Now, another extremely useful feature, and again, we sort of were hinting at this, is how to get around the exhibit hall. Well, it turns out you can do the exhibit hall stuff in your scheduler too. The exhibit hall is large, there's lots of substages, there's presentation areas, but you can search for specific programs and schedule those in with your materials. So for instance, there's a Chapter 1 stage, which is new this year, and it features international audiobooks, a poetry blast. There's a book buzz theater, which features information from publishers on new titles. We have What's Cooking at ALA for cooking demos. The Pop Top stage, which does some work on popular topics in libraries. And finally, there's a graphic novel and gaming stage that has some author and game creator presentations. And it's also where you can find more about our Zine Pavilion and, of course, the ALA poster sessions. All right. Now, I'm going to stop for a second here just to talk about the exhibit hall. And we kind of hinted at this a little bit. The exhibit hall and the posters, you can kind of see in this picture, they are all crammed in together. I mean, there's space, but it is big and there's a lot going on and a lot of people. This space can be overwhelming, and we know that, and it's especially overwhelming when you're new. So we urge you, to reach out to your friends and your colleagues who are traveling. It's a great place to meet new people because there's a lot of people who are also walking around kind of overwhelmed with all of the knowledge and the things. But it's also a great place, and we encourage you to make sure you get down there because, one, you can go see an ACRL booth. You're going to go meet all sorts of people, and it's a great place to talk to the vendors for the things that are already in your library. Maybe you want to go find out some new product they have and try it out. Maybe you've got some questions about how your product is working and you want to ask them about it. Now, there are morning and afternoon refreshment breaks held there, but you probably want to bring some water with you just because it's big and you might get thirsty. And there is, of course, the opening night reception, and we talked about this a little bit earlier. There's food, so please come eat and have some drinks with us. Stop by the membership booth, get your tag for your name badge. There's so many people there and so many things to see. And each of these exhibit halls, oftentimes, these exhibitors will often bring freebies Some have raffles for all sorts of gifts, like iPads, free airfare to next year's conference. I got a Fitbit one year from somebody. Sometimes they have author signings, just really cool stuff. Once you know what your days are going to look like using the scheduler, you can then take your time to visit the exhibit hall in between. You don't have to see it all at once. You can stagger your time through the hall at a time, look for the things that you're interested in. And the list of exhibitors are included also in the app, in the scheduler. So again, you can kind of put things in as you would like them. Oh yeah, let's pick up discounted cookbooks on Monday morning. Yeah, I actually, librarian, but I found some great children's books for my two kids when I was there. It was great. All right, so the exhibitors are in the scheduler, like I said. So if you were like, I need to talk to, in this particular one, we have, Free Branch, and we have, AAAS, and look them up, put them in your exhibitors list, and see if you can find them. We gain information from them, and they gain information for us. They want to know what it is that you need in your library. It behooves them to listen to you. So don't feel like you're bothering them, and don't be shy. Bring your toughest questions. They want to answer your questions. They want to hear from you. This isn't some kind of hard sell. I mean, great, if you want to sign up, terrific. They just want to exchange information there. So once you have those exhibitors in your favorites, you can see that in the schedule section, they'll pop up right in there. There's that similar search for speakers as well, like I said. So whether it's an exhibit or a speaker or a presenter, all of it shows up in your schedule and you are set to go. I'm going to change modes here just a little bit. I sort of hinted at this idea of being a little shy maybe when you're getting to a new place with tons of people. Turns out there's lots of people at ALA who are new and shy. They want to network and they're also nervous, and so they're probably a lot like you. So there's some things that you can remember. One is just be yourself. I know that sounds a little obvious, but you should. You can do something like use Twitter and start tweeting out your experiences. You might end up walking into one of your fellow tweeters. If you see someone that you recognize, please wave them over to come sit with you. Let them join your conversation. It's a great idea to start networking with people who look familiar, and you can spread out from there. We also have something that's called the Networking Uncommon space, which is at the Convention Center, and it's an area dedicated to small group gatherings. Network meeting, you can have a little session. If you need to practice a presentation, you can do that. Or if you just need to sit and recharge, you can do that. In this uncommon space, this Networking Uncommon, they'll even be able to give you some chairs and tables, flip charts. You'll have the Wi-Fi, and you can even, apparently they even have the selfie stick in case you need to take a picture of yourself on the go. Things out there to think about. Ooh, and power strips too, always important. All right, so how do you meet these people? Like I said, you're walking around, but how do you actually get to talk with them? Well, there's lots of social events that are being hosted during the conference. Some are hosted by divisions or sections, chapters, roundtables. These are perfect networking opportunities. And again, they show up in the scheduler. You may see them on ALA Connect 2 coming through from your groups. You may find out about library school student meetups, newer librarians meetups, or even library school reunions. We talked about the buddy program, and that's an opportunity as well where you can meet up with an experienced conference goer and have them introduce you to some folks. There's the new members roundtable mentor and mentee program, and that's an ALA level program. Please feel free to talk to people during or after meetings and presentations in the hotel lobbies, in the hallways. All you need to do is look over, introduce yourself to the person sitting next to you and say hi. You can ask them a question based on their name tag maybe. They'll have those little tags underneath their name tag. And finally, try not to just hang out with your friends. Every place you go at the conference is a new opportunity for you. So whether you're riding on the shuttle bus, over to the convention center, or you're in a workshop, or you're in the elevator, say hi. Now, there's some things that you can always remember to do. You always want to wear your name tag. That's important. Well, let me say you always want to wear your name tag while you're in the conference center or in your hotel. When you're walking outside, you can take it off. Stick your hand out and offer to shake hands and say hi. You're not there to meet just the most famous people who are going to ALA. You're there to meet your new peers. You're always going to find someone else who is either alone but is friendly and approachable. You can ask your fellow attendee if they're presenting something. A lot of us academics like to talk about our work, so you can ask them what they're doing and what they're interested in. And you yourself can have a description of the things that you're interested in. Your name, what it is that you'd like to do, what's your job at your institution, and try to engage in conversation in those ways. Okay, and finally, just a little bit on social networking. A lot of times this is easier for us than, oh yeah, I need to just strike a conversation on the shuttle bus. So true. Social networking though, for those of you you're on the shuttle bus and you need to shut down that brain just for a minute, you can get on Twitter instead and tweet at us. So there's some assistance if you need help with ALA ambassadors and an overview of what's happening in ALA. That's at ALA Annual. Our reference is hashtag ALAAC17. So ALA Annual Conference 17. There is an ALA think tank. The think tank is not an ALA affiliate, but they're like our friends, like a Friends of group, and they've got their Facebook page for us. And there is also a 2017 ALA Annual Conference Facebook event that is out there as well. Great places to check out and see what's going on. All right, and at this point, I'm going to turn everything back over to Katie. Give me just one moment here. And here we go.
Thank you. So now, as we have promised, is the time for you guys to download the handout. And actually, Lois, I'm going to pass this to you so you can give folks directions for downloading the handout. And then if you have any questions about what we have covered, please do start typing those into the chat box.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. To get the handout, you simply click on the little pen icon, which is annotation in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, and then you'll see a save button, and just click on the save button.
Do I need to bring it up?
You don't see it?
Okay.
It's up there.
Up at the top. Okay.
Just click on in the chat box to let me know whether or not you see the annotation icon, everyone. It's a little pen in the upper left-hand corner.
Rachel's got it. Okay, excellent. So as you're downloading the handout, I'll leave that up there for a little bit longer. Please do type into the chat box if you've got any questions that we weren't able to answer. Keeping an eye on this for a minute. Give you a few seconds. But also, before you do sign out of the presentation, we would like you to please fill out an evaluation for the session. And the link is now in the chat box to do that as well. So don't see any questions from anyone, but please do let us know if there's anything we can answer for you guys. Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, please do get in touch with Mary Jane if anything comes up. And before you sign up, please fill out our evaluation. Thank you very much for attending, and I hope you have a great conference. See you in Chicago.
Bye, everyone.
I'll stay here for a few more minutes in case other questions come up. Have the recording of this session posted in the Adobe Connect, or I'm sorry, ALA Connect space for the ACRL membership committee, and that will be a public post, so everybody should be able to access that. If you have questions, please let us know.